All right, and we are back. And today we're going to be continuing this. I got a few more frames done since last stream. So yeah, we're just gonna be spending the day trying to get through as many frames as we can. I don't know how many that's gonna be. Chances are, I highly doubt this whole thing's gonna be done. In fact, yeah, it's not a chance because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more frames to go. So yeah, we're not gonna get that done. But after this big long set of frames is done, we just have this other one, which should be a little bit easier because, you know, it's not as extreme of a movement. And then just a handful of other frames. So we're right there at the end as far as, you know, the really tough stuff. How am I doing there, Jordan Park? I'm doing good. Hope everyone's doing good. Okay, so we're gonna want the hood to come down even lower. So the idea is the movement that I'm kind of going for is the hood is going to go over his eyes. It's going to like collapse down. So what I'm having to account for is the fact that his horn is poking through the hood. So it's going to be a little tricky because technically speaking, the horn would actually keep it propped up, but we'll make it work. We'll make it kind of make sense here. He'll get it kind of caught on the horn and it'll be awkward, so that's why he has to adjust it. Alright, so now, and the nice thing is that with such extreme movement, we can kind of get away with doing whatever on the hood. And it should make sense so long as we are mostly logical. That's kind of the thing about it, like when you see like the really like chaotic kind of movement with like hair blowing in the wind and stuff like that, there is a trick to it, but for the most part, stuff like that, so long as you know how to draw hair in a kind of chaotic situation, right, being blown by the wind and stuff like that, it's moving so quickly a lot of times that you can kind of just get away with anything. You still have to make it look natural, but it's a lot more forgiving. It's kind of like in music where if anyone's really familiar with playing music and stuff like that, when you first start out, you think that, oh, you know, playing fast is the hard thing, right? Like being able to play really fast music. And there is a challenge to that. You have to be really good at moving your fingers across either the keys or, you know, maybe the frets on a guitar or something like that. But once you kind of get that down, and that becomes second nature, you can kind of actually hide your mistakes behind just the speed of the process. So it's kind of the same thing with animation. I'm actually going to say his eyes are like fully, maybe almost fully. Yeah, something like that. What's up, Time Animation? Good to see you back. Actually going to have bump up here and this down, kind of give this like a ripple effect to it. It might be a little quick on the ripple. I might want to slow that down. something like that. Okay, and then so the arm is gonna come up here. So I actually want to like do something like that. I have to be careful about how long the arm is. I think that might be a little long. So I might actually try. Come on. Okay, and something like that. It's been kind of fun doing these frames because there's so much shape going on to each of these frames. Like he's really kind of schmoovin' on these frames. So like I'm able to get away with like really exaggerated curves and lines and things like that. So really fun stuff. This might be covered up. In fact, it most certainly will. I'm actually gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna put this in that. And it's gonna start to kind of back off. This groove isn't gonna be as extreme. Even less so. That. Actually, it would make more sense for it to go down. But at the same time, the leg is going up, so actually, so it'd be like that. Well, that'll work. that. Go ahead and erase this. We're gonna actually also clean that up. That'll change up here once I lay the kind of, I don't know what it's like a shawl, kinda. There's this little shawl thing. Do I get to choose the music? Other than the fact that I just look up chiptune in YouTube? No. This is actually a different channel. This is Chiptune FM. So if you like what you hear, go check them out. They're really good. A lot of good stuff that they play. Actually, I want to do this first. So the knee will come up. Make a... But yeah, it's nice because I don't have to worry about you know, a song coming on that'll like cause the stream to stop and stuff like that, and I don't have to worry about like setting up a playlist or anything like that. So, well, I've been listening to a lot of chiptune. Has a good energy to it that kind of keeps me going for a long work session. There's a lot of other music I would love to listen to, but I just can't. I'd love to be able to throw on like Thank You Scientist or I don't know. A lot of different people. Heck, even Slift, which is like a psychedelic, off the beaten path like metal band. I was running into some issues with their music actually, which really sucks because I loved listening to Slift on stream. Then again, maybe it's for the better because I'm not sure it was everyone's jam. That's kind of nice thing as well with chiptune is like, for the most part, I think that everyone can kind of dig chiptune. Almost. That looks all right. How long have I been working on this? Well, literally 72 hours and 50 minutes. But in terms of like actual, you know, calendar days, I've been working on this since, I want to say April or maybe March of this year. So quite a while. There was a month where I was like out of commission. So that added, you know, about 30 days or so to that calendar, you know, basically the whole month of, it was honestly more like a month and a half. Basically from the end of April to the beginning of June. Yeah, to the beginning of June, I was out of commission. So that was a bit of time just kind of lost from circumstances. Yeah, I do like. It is unfortunately a little like it's a little too long to work on a project like this, just for where I'm at stuff. I want to be able to do stuff a bit faster, so the next sort of projects I want to do with these characters, I'm definitely going to have to like really play it simpler. Basically what I did with Grim. Have I heard of Star Wars? Nope. Never have. No, I'm just kidding. No, who hasn't heard of Star Wars? Let's see here. Let's go ahead and do this leg now, and we're actually gonna like kind of like tilt the foot here. This hoof is gonna start like pivoting on this point right here. We actually want to go slightly further out. Or oh, this needs little bandages across the back. I had an idea, as if the movement isn't complicated enough. I had this idea that, like, as he's really swinging his arms around, little like puffs of smoke would be kind of coming up between the bandages. I do think like that would make sense. I'm probably not going to do it because it would just be more work, but it's something that he has kind of going on where like these bandages and stuff like that. Like I said, like his hood is just smoke. Like what's inside, it's just smoke, basically. And it's the same with his arms. His arms are just smoke. Maybe he has bone. I don't think he has bones. He has bones in his legs, but I don't think he's got bones in his arms. I'm not sure though. I don't think so. This like might be a little big, a little long rather. In fact, I know for a fact it is. I'm gonna fix that actually. I think the upper, the thigh is fine. Calf though is a little long. I need to adjust this. All right. Yeah, no, I'm really excited to wrap this project up. There's still going to be quite a bit of work to do, like color and other stuff like that. But generally speaking, I still haven't come up with a good method for doing the color. I've been trying to like kind of puzzle it out in my head. I have ideas. I would really like to do the color in the program before exporting any frames. I really want to do that. Because I've thought about exporting the frames, crushing them, and then importing them again, but I'm not sure how well that'll work. That might be really like a hassle. The only problem is like, I mean, it's easy enough to, like, the way that I've done these frames, it's easy enough to select outside the form of the character and then just color the inside, right? Because he's solid enough, right? There's no, like, gaps in his art and stuff like that. And if there are, it's really minimal. But the problem with that is he has different things on different layers, right? And same with Grem. So I would have to figure out a way to reference all those layers at once, which I think I can do. Not 100% sure, but I think I can do that. Have ideas. It might be a hassle though. Well, you know, I think actually, do I? Yeah, let's give that a shot. gonna get really interesting doing this arm. Yeah, we'll make it work. Actually, I do think that this is a really strong pose, which is good because it's kind of a key pose. So, as long as there's some really strong poses in there, I think it'll really help to sell the action that's going on. That isn't great. That, like, it shoots back when this foot should probably be a little higher up. I could probably pivot that a bit and it would look a little bit better. It's not the worst. There is still kind of an arc, but it's rough. Yeah, let's see what it looks like here. Yeah, that's probably one of the weaker aspects of the movement is that foot. I might have to play around with that a little bit more. That should work. Let's see. All right. It looks like he's gonna snap in two. Yeah, he very well might. So in theory, the hood is going to come down like that, and we'll be able to do that. Something like that anyway. It might actually like go like something like that. I don't know yet. I'll have to feel out that motion when I get there. I'm gonna have to like think about how his wing is moving in the midst of all this. Oh, throwing his back around. Yeah, again, like he don't got no bones in there. It's just sand and smoke. So it's gonna be all flippery floppery. I'm actually gonna. What's up, KJ? Or KJL, rather. Yeah, actually. His arm just grows super big, but that's okay, I think. A little extreme, so I might have to shrink the arms down a bit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. As if we're not there already. Wait. We might be able to get away with this. Okay. I do this. And yeah, I've elected to kind of go with like some wider sleeves. Because originally what I had was, that's wrong. That's the wrong model. That's the wrong model. Where is he? That's the wrong model. There he is. All right. Let me drag this over so other people can see. But yeah, if we look at like his sleeves and stuff like that, they're kind of a wider. There's this widening. And I've decided I don't need to do that. That's a solid arc. Okay, on to the next frame here. Okay, so now we gotta start thinking how the hood actually like falls. This could be tricky. Okay. So here's the hood normal, right? And the hood is gonna kind of like flop down. And it's gonna like something like that, I guess. Let me Maybe sharper. It would actually be more like that. Um, um, this is gonna get interesting. This hood is gonna get all floppy. We can get rid of that. And actually, I probably should consider putting this here. The arm is more or less going to be out of the way. This is pretty good. Who is this? Oh, Shirobon. Counter format. This is a good one. I'll write this one down. Yeah, Shirobon has some good stuff. So, you know what? We're just going to smooth this out. Maybe a little indicator or something there. There we go. Okay. Honestly, like, probably should come out a little bit more. I want it. I don't actually. A little wider, but not that much wider. Bad. Have I heard of Poppy Playtime? I have. Haven't heard anything about that in a long time though. They were doing the whole chapter release thing or whatever, but yeah, kind of one of those things that sort of seemed like it came and went. Might be a little long. Yeah, that's a little long. This sounds like Nitro? Oh, Luke Hash. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like a Luke Hash. So I'm talking about the guy who made this song. He does a lot of really cool stuff. I don't know if it necessarily with this song. He does a variety of things, but he does a lot of really cool stuff on classic Commodore 64, I think. He kind of uses a Commodore 64 as a synthesizer, because it turns out that the what are usually referred to as the SID chips, it's like SID 6580 or something like that, I can't remember, but the SID chips, which are what's used in the Commodore system to make all the sounds and music and everything like that, are really powerful chips. They're actually really cool synthesizer chips that you can do a lot with. Have a really neat sound to them. And so people have kind of taken it upon themselves to get really creative with them, and basically turn these old computers into synthesizers, which is a really cool idea. Come on. I actually have to think about what the under part of his arm looks like. I've never had to think about that. It's not really anything special, but maybe like, I like the idea of it being like connected like that. Like it's kind of stitched together. I won't put the stitches because there's already enough line mileage going on here as is. But actually I will actually hold off on that as well. Yeah, another really nice thing about listening to a stream is it doesn't pause, because YouTube does that thing where they'll pause if they're not sure you're still watching or whatever. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I guess this we need to... do we want to worry about the thumb? I'll do that. We'll just do a little bit like Excuse me. Honestly, I want to actually kind of move the lake up a bit more. And actually, I'm not necessarily moving it up. I want to move it. I want to make it look like it's moving over more. Because he's still in the middle of like trying to catch himself. What ultimately happens, like, so he's trying to step back, right? And so his foot like goes sideways, like he throws himself back a little too much. And so I want to see if I can get his leg to look like it's kind of trying to pivot in order to catch himself, but his foot slips out from under him too soon. That's kind of the logic that I'm going for. And if that's the case, then that's a little too big. Like that. And so it's going to be a little bit more turned like that. Goes down. And the back of his hooves are a little weird. Let me double check them real quick. He has those kind of like divots. I don't think I'll have to worry about that. I don't think it's going to get that far around, but yeah, this is actually really cool too. Who is this? She, Supersonic. Yeah, she has some good stuff, it seems like. Gotta emphasize this. I guess it would be like that. That doesn't make sense. All right. So this will be frame 2, and we've been going for about an hour. 5 minutes. That's not bad. That's actually not a bad pace for this character. It's crazy how much faster Grem is. I gotta figure something out for this guy. I want to try to get to maybe frame 5. Maybe I can get to frame 5. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know how long I'm gonna stream for today. Maybe a few hours or so. How hot is it? That's a good question. Right now in this room it's 78, but which would be about 27, I want to say 28 degrees Celsius. You know, not too much higher than room temperature. But yeah, outside it's currently 78, so not bad at all. It will be getting warm coming up here, which it's like, dang it, I was hoping that wouldn't happen. We're gonna get up to about 97 or 35, 36 degrees Celsius, I think. I haven't had to convert Celsius in a while, so I can't remember my scale. I know that 40 is 109, something like that. Something. $94. Oof, that's getting up there. That's no fun. Yeah, coming up here, hopefully this will be the last like really hot couple days, but I've been hoping that basically the entire summer. It wouldn't be so bad if I could actually keep my house cool. But boy, hey howdy, that don't happen, unfortunately. Okay, that hand is too big. I can't have it that big. In fact, I need to start shrinking it down because that's what it's gonna... A lot of that's gonna get covered up, but I do want to know where it goes. Okay, that's frame number 6 of this whole sequence. Yeah, the arms might be a little big. I don't know yet. We'll find out when it's all said and done. Just gonna turn off the rough real quick. I do like it. I like the movement. I think it's looking good. Okay. So, all right. I'm actually going to take a little break, get some water, all that kind of stuff. And I'll be all right back. So, give me a second here. All right, we're back at it. Let's do another couple frames here. All right, and it should get easier as it goes. Like past this point, like these frames right at the end should be really easy. These take a little bit of thought, but aren't the worst. You know, but by and large, it's kind of funny, you know, as much as I complain about Wicker's model, that's only because of the context in which I'm working, which is to say, alone. You know, I'm the only one doing this. So ultimately that means that like I have to be really fast, right? Like if I'm gonna get anything done, I need to be able to like just rip through these frames really quickly. But in the context of an actual like production, like you know, there are much more complicated characters. Again, it would depend on the production, but if it was like a movie production or something like that, this would be nothing by and large. I don't want to do that. So the implication being that the horn is kind of poked up there, that's why I get stuck. Okay, let's see here. I'm actually gonna hold off on that. Yeah, put the little pearl thingy, bell, not bell thing. Which reminds me, I'm gonna need to do what was I saying? Gonna need to do some Foley for this. That's right. Do some sound design. Means I need to get a bell. I need to get a little bell. And a coconut. Maybe not a coconut. I can probably just use like a cup or something like that. It's just on the carpet, so it's not gonna be too clinky. Actually, I like the implication of foot slipping here, so it drives that down. That'll work. That works. Actually gonna push it out even more. It's really gonna slip. And then I'll kind of have to add the leg after that because it kind of just does whatever. I didn't really pay too close attention to what I was doing with that, but that's all right. I do that partially intentionally. It's more or less to make it so that I can be a little bit like improvisational. Because I don't want to just follow the beat of the rough animation that I did. The whole point of the rough animation is to give me guidance so that I can kind of play around with the motion a little bit more and not worry too much about pose itself. I can focus on other little implications within the action. Come on. Oh, come on. Forgot to do the sleeves. I swear, I'm going to forget the sleeves at some point and not notice it and come back. Looks like it's dancing. You know, it's kind of funny. When you break down a lot of movements, funny how many of them if you go back and forth on, it does look like dancing. Yeah, the fingers aren't enough. So we're gonna actually do that, call it there. Honestly, if there ever was a time to do the multi-draw technique for the smears, this would be it. Basically, the multi-draw technique is exactly what it sounds like. So in animation, if you've ever seen, like, it's super common in two things, like really early animation and like really goofy Eastern style animation. It's also used, it's actually not used over here nowadays a ton. Trying to think of any instances I can think of in like Western animation, like television, where this technique is used. But basically all it is like, so usually a smear frame, right? You have like the arm, say the arm like here and then here, right? Those are our keyframes, right? And they got the fingies. And of course, you know, the smear frames that I do are the sort of warp, right? Where you kind of like draw it out, you extend it, you make it look bigger, right? Well, there's another technique where we're essentially on one frame, right? So let's say that this is frame 1 and this is frame like 6, right? And, well, no, frame 3. So we're gonna do it on ones, right? So for frame 2, so 1, 2, 3, right? We have a frame where I'll draw, like I would draw, you know, the impression of multiple arms, right? Coming out, and they all have the fingers and stuff like that. And basically the idea is it's a method of inputting more information into a single frame, right? This isn't very good, but it wouldn't work very well, but that's the idea, right? So this is all one frame. But yeah, so I could use that technique here, but at the same time, like that's a really good technique for like making things look really, really fast. And truth be told, that's not actually what I'm going for here. I'm not really trying to make it look fast. I'm trying to make it look smooth and like have a lot of energy to it. It is a technique I should practice more with, though, because it is really useful. I should have Grim breakdance in a video. I don't know, would Grim be into breakdance? He probably would be into breakdancing. That actually, man, that reminds me. I did have a character named Jammer. I'll have to do something with that story. I don't know what, but it's a fun story. And he's this little robot with a speaker for a head. And his whole thing is like, you know, music and all that. And I had a video I was working on with a friend of mine. I didn't get very far in it, but it was going to be him like dancing and doing some like break dancing and whatnot. I might have to go back to that one. I didn't get very far and I got to the intro, but it was really fun to work on. And I could totally do it now. Like I'm a much better artist now. It was taking a while. I was on tie down and it was taking forever. Which tie down does. To me, like tie down is the most like tedious part of the process. Even more tedious than even like cleanup, because like with cleanup at least like you can kind of rip through to cleanup, like if you're working in like Team Boom and stuff like that, and just like you get into a good flow and stuff like that. But it's hard to get into a good flow for me with tie down. Depending on the model, depending on the character. Honestly, that probably more speaks to my sense of design for my characters and such more than anything. Because it's like, oh yeah, let's just put lines in perspective everywhere on the character. that won't be annoying. Let's. This isn't right. That's better. Okay, that'll do. Always those little things, man. And a little higher. That's why I didn't have any lines on ground. That's why he's way easier to draw. He just got big eyebrow. That's all you need. It's just big eyebrow. The calf is probably a little short, but yeah, whatever. Oh, that might be why. Hold on. I gotta kind of adjust things here. Because the thigh is way too short. Oh, come on. I had a good line, it just wasn't in the right spot. There we go. Hold on. Hold on. Let's go and do that. There we go. That strengthens the line a little bit. Alright, that's another frame. We might have to adjust that, but next. Okay, and just gonna get lower and lower. Maybe if I did this. All right, well, I've been going for a couple hours here. I think I'll probably go for another hour and a half or so. We'll see. Where am I? Yeah, something like that. Date today's 18th. Okay. I would like to try to have the animation itself done by the end of the month. That would be good. It is currently 4:28, 4:30, right around Pacific Standard. I'm looking at the HUD. I'm trying to determine if I like that movement. I think it works. It's a little slow, but it's gonna be, I think. It technically would fall a little faster probably, but not the worst. Or maybe not quite as fast. It'd probably hang on this. Well, we can do that real quick. 1 second. Let's have it hang out a little bit since he's moving back like that. We can adjust it real fast. Let me just overcomplicate the movement some more. $6:30. Couple hours ahead then. Yeah, it's kind of funny being on the Pacific side. It kind of feels like you know, even though it's not quite the last time zone, like there's a few time zones after Pacific Standard Time, but it really does kind of feel like being sort of at the end of the world in another way where, you know, when I start streaming, let's say at 7 o'clock I start streaming, right, which is typically what I do on Thursdays, right? The problem is that, you know, over on the East Coast, it's 10 at night already, you know? So it's a little bit tough for people to catch the streams a lot of times because it's like, oh yeah, time to sleep, you know? And then all of Europe is around that time is either sleeping or because yeah, about 6 hours is when you hit England. It's about 6 hours ahead of me, 6 or 7. So you know, at 7 o'clock, that's gonna be 3 in the morning, right? Or no, 1 in the morning. Yeah, 1 in the morning. And then, you know, further beyond that, eventually you come to like the very early morning in like Central Europe, right? But, you know, most people are working around that time. So it's kind of a tough time. Kind of tough to find a good time to stream. so that everyone can join. That's why I do enjoy coming in a little bit early on Mondays. Seems a little bit more active on Mondays. Though it has been a little bit quiet this time, but that's all right. Some streams are like that. Let's actually have it up a bit more. Kind of like that one. Down. His hood is a little heavy, but it's not super heavy. Again, it's like burlap. Kind of a rough, coarse kind of material. Potato sacking. Oh, well, I'm gonna have to rethink of this because the arm's coming back up. It's a pretty extreme movement, actually. We'll see how that looks. It should work, but eh. That. Well, we can make it look better, actually. Okay, so this is a real, like... Alright, a real, like, in-between. This, it's kind of a pop frame. And kind of the purpose of a pop frame is to really emphasize an action, in this case, him falling. And it tends to be very exaggerated. It's kind of like a smear in that way, but it's more like it's kind of like what comes before an overshoot, or rather, it's the overshoot itself. It's more in line with an overshoot. Think about when the cartoon character sees something and their eyes pop out of their head, you know, kind of stuff like that. That's kind of what this is. Although I don't like... I can have him kind of roll on his foot. That should work? Question mark? I almost wonder if I should have the leg kind of catch back here. The foot, more importantly, catch right like here. Back a little bit. I like that Grem isn't even like looking as he's falling. That is something worth paying attention to, though, is like if you have an interaction. The really challenging thing about like characters interacting is you essentially have to animate them both at the same time, or at least board it out at the same time, rather. But it depends on how like intricate the interaction is. Obviously, one of the more common, like really intricate interactions between two characters is, you know, a fight scene or something like that. And at that point, you really kind of have to look at it all as one movement, just with different components. You almost have to kind of think of it as one body. There probably are people out there who do it, you know, one character at a time and just have a really good sense of like, okay, I know exactly what the motion is going to be for this part, into this part, into this part, and then they let one of the characters kind of lead the timing. But I would imagine that that's a rather challenging way to go about it. I actually have boarded an action sequence before. Never did finish it. It would be fun to go back and finish that sequence. And that's not correct. Movement here is a little funky. I think it works. Do I like snake? As in, do I like snakes as in the animal, or do I like Metal Gear Solid Snake? Because the answer is yes. Nah, I like snakes. Snakes are neat. Yeah, snakes are really strange, man. Like, they have such a bizarre way of, like, moving and whatnot. And just, like, they're, like, the way their senses work, the way their, like, organs work and everything like that, it's downright bizarre. This is like, oh yeah, it's a tube. It works exactly how you would expect a tube to work if it was alive. Wait. Like that. Again, the hand's too big. Excuse me. A little busy around there, but that's alright. Alright, and now for something completely different. An impact frame. Okay. I do want him to kick out a little bit, but probably not that much. Probably like that, yeah. But we're gonna... go ahead and just do that. That'll probably need to be erased, but... And I'm gonna kind of squash them down. Oh my goodness, it's Yellow Brain! Hello. Hope you're doing well. I guess we can pull in from over here. Maybe even like really something like that. Oh man, my eyes. I will say, intensely staring at a screen while animating, kind of kind of hard. Kind of hard on the old eyeballs. I probably should take another break here soon. Get some more water. We are making really good progress though. I'm actually surprised about how far I've gotten. Which is good because that means that I am speeding up the process. I'm being more efficient with my frames than I was. I don't know if I want to go that far. Sick enemy skills, thank you. I try. Honestly, I feel like I've really ever since starting this, I've really like figured out some things that were kind of plaguing me in getting deeper in animation and whatnot. Feel like I have more control over my sense of movement now, which is nice. Then I just think that I've gotten better with my lines recently. I think my line control has really improved, which is is actually really encouraging, because that's going to carry over into the comic when I start working on the comic next month, and hopefully really like speed me up quite a bit, which will be nice, because there are some pages that are going to be like, oh boy. Who am I animating? I'm animating just his feet. One second. This little guy who goes by the name of Wicker. And yeah, he is a chimera. But currently, he's being spooked by a gremlin in a box, and is flailing around all wild-like. That does look fun. I actually do like the timing on that, where he just plops down. That'll be fun. He is a cool dude. He's a cool little dude. Do I want to be there? I'm afraid I can't read your name. Hope you're doing well, though. Man, it would be really funny if I didn't... Not that I learned, like, how to speak a bunch of different languages, because, like, I just don't have that drive. It'd be a really cool drive to have, but I just don't have. But learn, like, at least how to, like, pronounce, even if just phonetically, like, a variety of different alphabets. That'd be kind of funny. Speaking another language after 5 minutes. I'm sure there are people who can, or who even have. Start going through just all these languages and stuff like that. Some people, man, some people can really pick up languages. It's crazy. It is kind of it's interesting how, like, it's a skill in and of itself, right? Like, once you've learned, like, a couple different languages, especially, like, different language families, like the specifics of another language family, than being able to just start picking them up, you know? It gets easier and easier the more languages you learn. I do want to learn a couple other languages. I would love to get better at Spanish. I know some Spanish, not a ton though, but Spanish would be really useful to know. I want to have, what do I, yeah, something like, oops, more like back there, like a donut, little sleeve donut. Gotta go for a bit, but you'll be back. Look forward to you being back. I'll be gone for a little while longer here. Probably at least another half an hour. If not a little longer than that, because we do only have like 3 frames after. I might just finish out this stretch of frames. There's not really any reason not to. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling when we get there. But that'd be cool. I didn't think I was gonna get that far. What is that supposed to be? Oh yeah, that's just okay. So that's his chest. Oh, I just checked who the song is. It's Higa Driver. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, Higa Driver is great. I thought it sounded familiar. Did he snap now? Kind of. I mean, like he is compressed. Yeah, that should do. Okay, now I'm actually gonna, and this is his little shawl thingy. I want this to, the nice thing about like clothing items like this is you can kind of like, the way I like to use like scarves or capes or other like large, just more or less flat objects of like clothing and stuff like that, is to actually like simplify areas and kind of make sort of white space out of like what could be really a complicated area. That way you get like a lot better emphasis of a sequence or a pose or something like that. It's why I like characters with cloaks and things like that, is it just really like, I have where is he at? Yeah, these guys. That's kind of what I was thinking. Oops, wrong thing. What I was thinking with these guys when I designed them, I wanted there to be just like these sort of solid blocks of their design, you know, where, yeah, there's like folds and things like that, but like it's just a solid kind of white space. That's what this style, this is from the comic. These are a couple characters from the comic. That's what this style is kind of all about. What I'm doing with the comic is very open. It leaves a lot of room for the color to really shine, and so it's really fun. Go put that back. Okay, let's think about this arm. That should do. And like that. And the this isn't proper. So be like that and that. And it would stretch out. I almost want to go flatter with the hand, maybe even the arm itself. Just to really emphasize that flattening. And then, because it's going to spring back, I might need to shrink it a bit. Shrink the arm a bit, which I can do. Again, the arm, yeah, you know, I'm going to actually make the arm slightly smaller. In general. That's better. And This hand I might need to shrink a bit. I don't know. Well, the fingers I do. We can do that real quick here. Oh, got to do the like that. Oh, and the bottom part of the leg. Oh, I forgot to do the sleeves. Let's see. It looks kind of painful, honestly. Just watch the motion without the... Yeah. You know, I think I'm gonna try to make this a little simpler. Well, how do I want to do this? Because this hood has this shape and then it folds over itself, and so you're gonna get that fold. Well, maybe... I don't know, maybe that's good enough. Although this... that doesn't... No, that... well, it would make sense if there was that. Okay, hold on. Hold on, I got something coming. Something like that. Once again, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be more along the lines of this. When you have a big hoodie, you can fit your whole body in it. Yeah, that's basically... he took that principle to its logical conclusion. He has become one with the hoodie. Actually gonna... I have an idea for how I want to do this movement here. Some little fun stuff I can do. How long have I been going? Stream's been going for about 3 hours now. Not bad. I don't think I'll do the last 3 frames. Yeah, it's getting close to 6 here. I could keep going, but again, I'm still in a little bit of recovery mode, so I'm a little bit hesitant to just sit for that long. Yeah. Yeah, let's go and do the leg now. Legs. $7:41. Yeah, it's starting to get late. Heck, it's almost 9 over on the East Coast. Well, the nice thing is I've definitely gotten used to his shapes, his arm and stuff like that. I need to shrink this down. We'll see how that looks. That might not work because it's awfully quick. Yeah, the whole movement is quick, so I kind of like how it causes him to kind of throw his arm to the side. I think that I could have one more frame of it settling, since it is pretty light cloth. I kind of want to do that. It's not that hard to do. And it does go around the back of it. So actually you would see it back here. And this would be a striped. And then I think he'll probably like throw his hand down at this point. And then it'll probably like settle right there. But what's going to be happening on this side, on this hand, is he's going to like land, kind of lift it up a little, and flip his hand and then back down. But I think I'm done for today. We got in a little over 3 hours. That's good. So let's see what we got so far. I'll kind of blank this out. This is coming along, which is good. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with that. And I like the little like shift on his foot. That really sells that he like, it totally went like sideways for him, literally. This fun little subtle shifts and whatnot. There's little things that could be better, like the hand suddenly like throwing over but for the most part, I think it'll be fine. I can't get the movement perfect. It would just take too long for me. I'm not the best animator in the world, but I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. The feet look pretty good. And actually, like, it looks better than it was with going from here to here. That actually ended up working pretty good. Especially with the implied kind of twist, rather than going just straight back. It's like his foot like swerved out towards the back wall, which I like. It's a nice little touch. Oh, you're back. Tell you what, Yellow Brain, since you just got back, I was just about to end it, but let's do one more frame. We're gonna do one more frame because I hate to leave you hanging, and that won't be too much. It'll actually give me a chance to figure out like how I want to settle it as well. So that works. Let's see here. And this is a key, so I want to make sure that it's good. All right. But it is good to have you back, Yellow Brain. I'm actually surprised I got as far as I did, honestly, today. Makes me pretty happy. And only in 3 hours. That's actually that's not bad, because we started I think here. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames today. Not bad, honestly. Yeah, this song kind of goes hard. What is this? Zeph Onyx. I think I've heard of Zeph before. Pretty good one. And that goes a little too high up. We do want it to kind of like raise up, but not that much. A little lower. Might actually. Oops. What about there? A little higher up. Something like that. I don't like the fact that it's kind of twinning, but I almost wonder if I can keep it up a little longer. Add a little bit of texture to them. What program do I use? This is Clip Studio Paint. It's one of the programs that I use. It's kind of my go-to for illustration and animation right now. Mostly rough animation. I have done cleanup in Toon Boom, quite a bit actually. But I just really like the feel of this one. Toon Boom is perfectly like good for rough animation as well. You know, the kind of stuff that I'm doing right now. But I'm just more used to this program. It's just more comfortable. But I also use, which I'm actually considering using for this project. Hold on. Blender. Because Blender actually has 2D tools. And then on top of that, Blender's great for compositing, where you know, put all the pieces together. I've done that a couple times, and it's great. You can do some really fun stuff with it. I'm still not 100% sure what I'm gonna do yet. It all depends on how I want to handle the comp, which I haven't really decided yet. I could do it all in DaVinci, which is another program I use. Which DaVinci is fantastic. It's a terrific program. This down and this. That's better. We're getting some subtle movement here. I mean, that's one of the big reasons that I'm able to go faster, is because I don't have to worry too much about like really subtle movement, like I did last time I was working on Wicker. Your internet went out. That sucks. Uploaded for a second. Oof. That always sucks. So I need it, so, or he would kind of lift the back of the arm up a bit and then flip his hand over. So I need to have him lift this up. Gerald the dog imploded. Reference to something? Just reindeer and stuff. Nice. I'm just imagining, like, you know, those people who get like their pets taxidermied. I think that's all I need to say. Like, oops. Oh. It would. Yeah, okay. Hold on, this might actually work better? Well, we're gonna find out next time. That's a problem for future me. Alright. Oh, if only you knew, my little friend. Nah, but for real, I did actually do some work for the Lackadaisy pilot when that came out. Really fun. It was a really fun project to work on. So I got to do a bit of that, and I would love to do more. I've applied and haven't heard anything. So how it goes. One of these days, though, it'd be fun to be on another project like that, though. So some point. I mean, that is a little bit of the reason why I'm putting so much effort into this. Is, you know, it's a good showpiece. Be like, hey, here's what I can do. I will say though, I do think that I have a kind of like peculiar way of animating. It's effective, but I'm not exactly like traditional when it comes to my method. Which has its benefits, but can also kind of be a problem. Yeah, they're making a whole little series. I think it's like 5 episodes or something like that. It got funded. This is mine. This is a character that I made. So if I'm not working on someone else's indie animation, then I'll make my own. Truthfully though, this is actually a little bit of a break, which, you know, I don't know how much of a break a 76 in 5 minutes project is, but did I say 76 minutes? 76 hours and 5 minutes project is, but it's not a comic. Because I've definitely put a heck of a lot more, like probably 10 times more time than that into the comic so far. Maybe. Hard to say. I've been working on that comic for years, but I'll be getting back to that next month. And truth be told, like, it's a little bit tough to really like sink my teeth into like a more professional gig right now, because like I really do want to finish that that comic. So that's kind of part of the reason why I haven't really been gunning for more work. Is, you know, I've got other really big projects I need to take care of. That's kind of, you know, I was in the hospital for a little while a bit ago. Nothing like major, but I had to be there for a good while just to make sure everything was fine. And, you know, it's like, well, I guess this is kind of like a vacation. You know. Not ideal, but it was, I guess, a necessary little break. We'll keep the hood as it is for now. Worried about that. I actually want to relax the hand a little. Yeah, to be clear, it was totally planned and like went well enough. Just kind of not, I guess you could call it a complication, but it didn't turn anything into anything like major, which is good. Took a while to get out, but it beats it going wrong, you know. Okay, there we go. So the hand's a little bit more relaxed now. And we can do the bandages. Okay. So he'll flip his hand and put it down. And I might need to workshop that, but that's gonna be it for now. We just have a couple more frames in that stretch, and then we just have this stretch, which that won't be too hard. That's just a handful of frames and just him reaching up and pulling the hood back. That'll be a little bit tricky to figure out the movement, like how I want to do that, and then it's just him throwing his hand down in frustration because he realizes he got spooked by Grim. But it's coming along. That might actually work as it is. With that balance. Oh wait, I need to check something. Okay, we're not done. Okay, I need to do this, which this will be simple enough. Like so. And then we gotta do the little stripes. And that's done. He does kind of shrink down. I'll consider like making the arms a bit smaller. It is meant to look exaggerated, but it might be a little too much on certain arms, which should be simple enough to just shrink down a touch. And but yeah, no, I do like how the hood moves for the most part. It's a little slower than it probably should be. But it's kind of an awkward timing, the way he's moving in that scene. It's not meant to be like super fast. It's meant for him to like be responding, you know, so have a little bit of a response time. But yeah, I do like the timing though. I like how he's surprised and then starts flailing. Like exaggerated proportion makes a character iconic. Yeah, it's important. All right, that being said, I'm gonna call it a night. I will be back on Thursday. What time is it? Yeah, 6. So 1 hour from right now is when I'm gonna start streaming on Thursday at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So whatever that is for your time zone or whatever, would love to see you stop by again. All that being said, thank you guys so much for stopping by. It was actually a really fun stream. It was a little quiet, but in a good way. So yeah, have yourselves a good night. Take care. Do all the good stuff. Keep drawing if you draw. Keep enjoying animation if you enjoy animation. Keep doing the things. So yeah. All that being said, I will catch you guys later. Again, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, Bye-bye.